Welcome to Superintendent's Corner. I'm Dr. David Clendening, and today in the studio we are here to talk about a class that's brand new to Franklin Community High School, and Mr. Dunfee is the teacher. The class is called TEALS, which is a pre-program engineering class. We're going to talk about it, but it really hits home the importance of individual student growth and providing new experiences for students. So welcome to the studio and the TV show. Talk a little bit about you're kind of the father of this class. You're the one that sought it out and helped bring it to us. So talk a little bit about the origin of the class and how it came about.
The class started, there was a software engineer from Microsoft, and he had gotten a lot of requests for schools around the Seattle area to come and teach computer programming because they didn't have any teachers that were qualified. And as he got more and more phone calls, he decided to find more people to help him, and he wanted to take this project nationwide. Microsoft just said, well, work with us and we'll help you do that. And I just found it, doing a lot of research online, I knew that I needed some more help with teaching computer programming to the students. And when I found the program, it's geared toward to get more students to show their interest or develop their interest in programming. It's also supposed to help increase the diversity because there are a lot of groups like females and minorities that aren't in computer science. And so the program's supposed to help bridge some of that gap.
I know that, and you mentioned Microsoft is a real contributor to this. One of the other great benefits is that we have guests come in to help you and share their expertise and knowledge. So talk a little bit about the role and responsibilities of that guest teacher.
Their role really is to bring some of the real-world application into the students so that the students see more than just what I teach them in the classroom. And we have Mrs. Lisa Fears. She has worked at the college, and now she has a consulting business. And she comes in and she works with the students, helping them plan their projects and get an idea of how they need to be prepared for the big work. We have Mr. Troy Staten, who works for Cummins with programming, and he comes in and helps them figure out where some of the problems are, why they need to document the work that they're doing. And then we're still looking for one or two more to come in the other days of the week so the students get even more outside advice and guidance in programming.
TEALS is probably an acronym. Do you happen to remember what it is?
I don't.
I don't either. But one of the things about TEALS is they provide some training for these guests. Is that correct?
Right.
Talk a little bit about if someone would want to be interested in helping in the programming class, what training they can expect to receive and how could they be plugged in? Okay.
There's an application form that they would fill out, and then the training over the summer. It's usually an hour that is sometimes synchronous, meaning we need to be online all at the same time and work together, but most of it's not, where we just log in, we watch a little video clip from Kevin Wang, who's one of the directors or originators of TEALS. And then he provides some guidance and he helps the volunteers get a better sense of how do I work with high school students, because it's not the same as working with the other employees in the real world. And then there's one of those every week, and it lasts about 10 weeks, I think, through the summer. And it takes them through some of the projects that we do in the classroom, so they've already worked through it, and then they know what to expect and where the students might have some difficulties with the projects as they're working on them.
I think that's one of the key features is the kids are getting some real life experience in programming. It's not some artificial thing from the book and we try it and it really doesn't have an impact on what they're going to do. Talk a little bit about some of the projects that you did first semester with our students.
The first project we did was the students had to create a game that was similar to Mario, and when they did that they had to come up with their own characters, their own enemies, and they just created like a single stage of the Mario game. We also created versions of Hangman. We created, for their final they got some more freedom and they chose. So I had some students that created a Wheel of Fortune game. I had some others that created a game that incorporated math facts, where the students would have to find a certain spot and then answer a question, and then that would add to their score, and then they'd keep moving through. So we just did several things like that. Try to use games because I know students like creating games, and some of them have an interest in that kind of a field for a career. So
The class itself, is it a 1 semester or a 2 semester class?
the programming class is a full year class, but the TEALS portion is only 1 semester.
Okay. So now that we have finished the TEALS portion, what will a student expect this next semester in computer programming?
Right now we've started working in the Python language,
Okay.
which when I've talked to other colleges about what languages they want their students to know, that's one of the basic ones that many of them start their students with.
So our students, once they finish with your class, they'll have the skills. What class would they take at the next level, either at an Ivy Tech or at an IU or a Purdue? What's the next step for them?
They would be prepared for the first level computer science class. It would really make it easier for them. I have had students who took programming with me before come back and say that my class made their computer science class a lot easier because they already understood how to structure a program. They already understood how to flow chart the program and how to go about breaking down the problem into the steps that they needed.
You mentioned that diversity is somewhat of a concern in the field of computer programming. How did we do in the first year? Did we expose some other people to this opportunity?
We did. We actually went from having 1 female student. This year we've had 3.
All right.
So it's getting a little bit better. Just TEALS helped us, I think, move up 2 more students. So I'm hoping that next year we'll have even more because businesses actually like hiring female computer programmers because they pay more attention to detail.
When we're looking at scheduling for this next coming year, we're getting ready to do that. We'll hit pause and go and pick it up.
Okay.
You guys get to do a little editing now. When we look to the future and scheduling for our students, are there prerequisites for your computer programming class? And at what age can they first enter into computer programming here at the high school?
The only prerequisite we have is having at least a C in Algebra 1.
Okay.
Right now we have our lowest grade requirement set to grade 10.
Okay. So as the students, the freshmen right now are thinking about this, what are we doing to actively reach out to them? Are there some special opportunities at lunch coming up, or how can they reach out to you, I guess, to learn more about this?
What I've been doing is classes that I've had that have a lot of freshmen in, I have been incorporating units into those classes, and then I'll talk to them about what we do in that class, because I know word of mouth among students is probably one of the better ways to promote the classes.
You know, as we think about the guiding principle of individual student growth, and this class really speaks to that, and providing experiences and some outside resources, what do you think the future of computer programming will hold for our students?
There is going to be a huge shortage of computer science people in general, and what I think will happen is with the students that come in, and as we make this program grow, I think it could lead to even more advanced classes, and then students might even be able to find some jobs that would let them use these skills even without having the full 4-year degree. It would let them start getting some experience, and then they could really decide how they want to go on with that.
You know, this is a Microsoft program through the TEALS, but the programming class, the year-long program, doesn't just stay in the Microsoft domain.
No.
You're really opening it up to all languages, so if I'm a Google person or I'm a whatever person interested, they can take your class and benefit, correct?
Yeah, because the Python language is uniform. Anyone can use it. It doesn't matter what platform. It's just a good basic language to use.
And you mentioned jobs in the future. What is the median salary or type of money a student can expect? You know, if I go down this path of computer programming, I'm going to be able to make how much money?
The last I looked, it's about $60,000.
Okay. So pretty good salary coming
Yeah.
out, and as you said, you don't necessarily need a 4-year degree.
Right.
Some other opportunities, I know that C9 has some computer programming classes as well, Ivy Tech, and they're even talking about some dual credit opportunities with Vincennes through C9 and some of those things. So a lot of exposure for our kids to engage in computer programming.
And I've had some students who've gone on to the program at C9, and they've come back and said that it was so much easier because they already had
Outstanding.
experience on some of those basic things So then they just had to focus on the small differences.
You know, we talk about the outside experts coming in, but I think it'd be interesting for our community here, kind of about some of your expertise. I know you're doing some things to kind of continue to grow your knowledge. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
As far
Your
as
doctorate.
Oh, I am working on my doctorate degree from Indiana University in Instructional Systems Technology, which is really incorporating technology into instructional design.
And so what do you hope to do? Once they call you Dr. Dunfee, what do you hope to do with that?
I guess my ultimate goal would be to work for a company like Google.
Okay.
Because I know they're doing a lot with education.
Yep.
And develop some other tools that can be used by more schools, because I know there are a lot of schools going to Google Apps and things like that, just to help incorporate even more technology into the classroom.
All right. So you can see, community, we have expert not only in programming but in the technology field leading this class. It's a great opportunity for our students. And it really does speak to what we're trying to do here in getting our kids exposed to experiences and opportunities and 21st century skills. You know what? You're going to need to know some languages inside of the computer world if you're going to move into that domain. Any other thoughts about the class or the future of computer programming as we get ready to wind up the show?
I just see it as a really growing field, and when we talk about languages, some states actually consider programming to be a foreign language, and so that's even another possibility that could come down the road somewhere.
That's exactly right. Today you've been watching Superintendent's Corner with Mr. Dunfee, talking about a pretty exciting class that we have here at the high school. If you'd like more information, feel free to reach out to Mr. Dunfee either at the high school or via email, and that's just dunfeer@franklinschools.org. You've been watching Superintendent's Corner. I'm Dr. David Clendening. Have a great week.